Have you ever imagined living in a city where everything was permitted? Where no one placed limits on anything, not on pride, nor on the most ambitious desires? And what if I told you that this city existed, was built by human hands, and destroyed by a divine decree? In today's video, you will discover what life was like in Babel, a bold, powerful, and dangerous city. A city where humankind tried to take God's place, and what happened afterward changed the destiny of humanity. Stay with me until the end, because the lessons of this story are more relevant than you imagine. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with someone who needs to hear this message. And tell me here in the comments, do you think we are living today like in Babel? After the flood, humanity received a new beginning. Noah and his descendants had the mission to populate the earth. But instead of spreading out as God commanded, a group decided to settle in a plain called Shinar. There, a bold project was born, to build a city and a tower that would reach the heavens. But Babel was the symbol of a choice to live for themselves, to build for themselves, to exalt themselves. The city was born out of rebellion. No temples, no prayer, just bricks, mortar, and pride. Everything seemed organized. One language, one purpose. But everything turned towards the human ego, not God's will. Can a civilization prosper far from the Creator? Imagine a place where right and wrong are defined by men. Such was Babel, without fear, without reverence, without limits. The motto was clear. Let's do what we want. Let's be what we want. Unity existed, but it was motivated by vanity and ambition. They didn't want to depend on God. They wanted to prove they could do everything without Him. Are we living something similar today? Isn't freedom without direction synonymous with destruction? The people of Babel built something grand, but with a rotten foundation, the absence of God. Let us build ourselves a city and a tower with its top in the heavens. It sounds inspiring, but behind this phrase was pure arrogance. The tower was not to glorify God. It was an attempt to replace Him. They said, "And let us make a name for ourselves." It was about fame, dominion, and self-sufficiency. The tower became a symbol of a generation that wanted a human empire without divine intervention. And perhaps the biggest problem wasn't the physical tower, but the invisible tower in their hearts. Pride, vanity, illusion. How many similar towers are we building today? God observed everything, and then He said, "Come, let us go down," and there confused their language. It was the end of unity. Words became noise. Construction stopped, and the city was abandoned. The confusion of languages was more than punishment. It was mercy. God dismantled a system that placed man on the throne that belongs to Him alone. When pride goes up, God comes down. And when He comes down, everything changes. The story of Babel lives on, in our choices, in our cities, in our ideas. We live in times where everything seems permitted. But are we drifting away from God, thinking we don't need Him? Modern towers are being erected every day. Fame, money, vanity, ideologies. But with the same fragile foundation, the exclusion of God. The lesson of Babel is clear. A society without spiritual limits ends in confusion. But a life with God finds purpose, direction, and eternity. They had one language, one direction, one grand project, but everything was based on pride. God intervened not to destroy, but to save. Today, we still have a choice. We can build, yes, but with God at the center. If this message spoke to you, comment, "I choose to build with God." Share this video with someone who needs this reflection. Subscribe to the channel for more biblical stories that awaken and transform. The tower of pride always collapses, but God's plans remain forever.